This is Mike with AMP, and in today's video, we're going to cover the initial setup of your product table. So that a table that holds all of your product information, including descriptions and pricing and organizing for your catalog. So let's head over to the Manage Catalog tab at the top. And you'll actually start off already selected on the product screen. And because we don't have a table at the moment, we only have one option here. We can add a new table. Now, if you ever delete your table, we do store it here. It's going to be under this Show Deleted area, so you can still go retrieve that document if you want and re-upload. But let's begin by adding a new table. And like all of our tables, we have two options. I can start with an Excel file that I have on my computer, or I can start with our universal template here. And you can name the file however you like. Now, I've already set up an Excel file on my computer, and this is using the majority of our universal template. I threw in some fake information as well as two price lists here to get started. So let's grab this file and upload it into AMP. Now, when you upload any file into AMP, specifically a table for the first time, you'll need to go ahead and tag these columns so AMP knows how to treat each column of data. Now, we'll do this together, and I'll give you a brief introduction to what each column tag does in AMP. So starting with our SKU, we're going to tag that as SKU. You'll notice a lot of our tags are going to match up exactly with our column tags here. That's because I'm using our universal template. Now, you could have columns that have headers that don't match at all. That's perfectly fine. We do encourage you, though, to use our universal template just so that there's no confusion. And we have collected these columns for a reason over time. We've just found it's the best way to organize and really provide as much information as possible for the catalog. So we've got SKU to SKU. In the SKU column, that is the one required column you need for your product table, as it is really the structure for the rest of the table. So all of this product information here in this row is tied to this SKU, this identifier. Same goes for presentations and photos and order history. When you pull any of those up in AMP, it's looking at this SKU here. So you cannot edit the SKU once it's uploaded. You can certainly delete the SKU and upload a new SKU if you want. But once you've accepted this SKU here, it is locked in for good. So keep that in mind. Think of your SKU or SKU convention here, because once that's in and you've used AMP for a while, that is your SKU until you decide to delete that SKU completely out of AMP and add a new one. Then we have item name. So how do you describe what the SKU is? Usually it's more of the object itself, because if you have a bunch of items in a collection or a grouping, you'll want to know, okay, this is the chair, this is the table, and so on. So very brief description there. Then we have category and subcategory. These are typically used just for filtering. So once I'm browsing the catalog, I want to filter for bedroom here. Same for, okay, I'm looking for classic pieces. And then you can combine these while filtering. I'm looking for bedroom classic. And now I'm quickly looking at just a handful of objects. We have our collection, which is by default also a filter. So I have my elegance collection here. I've got rustic as well. Item short description, item long description. This is really just an opportunity to provide what they call metadata, searchable data. We have a generic search bar. So if I'm searching for any of these terms, then AMP will display pages that connect with your search there. Also, you can display some of these columns differently in AMP. So sometimes a short description is more useful than a long description in some areas. And there's no limit to either of these as far as how much you want to fill out or how long those descriptions are. Then we have page ID and page romance. Page ID is probably the second most important column after the SKU, as this is driving the grouping of your items in the catalog. I like to think of it as a home address for the SKU. So if two SKUs, so these two SKUs here, if they share the same exact page ID or home address, then they will go live on the same page in the catalog. And on the opposite side of the coin, if all of your SKUs have unique IDs, then every SKU will have its own page. So some folks fill this out with really just repeating the item names or the SKUs, or typically I see a combination of collection names and their main category, and then some other verbiage. It may even be the color of the collection. Perhaps you have two elegance bedroom collections, one's red and one is white. So they each have their own page, and so on. Also be careful of the naming here. These are used as titles below each page before you tap on a page. So I recommend having some context there, so that's useful not only for you, but also for the user. Then we have the page romance, which is a paragraph that gets displayed below the photos on a product page. So this is your opportunity to really give a lot of information about the collection itself and all the pieces that are involved. Then we have the item dimensions, followed by the carton or shipping dimensions. Item weight, shipping weight. Now, item size, this is our first other front column, which just means this is more product information. It doesn't serve any particular function. It's not displayed anywhere special in AMP. It's just more product information that is at the bottom of the product page and is searchable. It can be also turned into a filter if you want. If you want a filter dedicated to item size, we can certainly do that. But we're just going to leave that as other front. We do have an MSRP tag if you want to load in those numbers, as well as an inventory tag. Now, inventory is a column that is displayed prominently on the front of a product page and in the small breakout shot on the iPad view right below price. So the rep can see immediately it's this price and we have this many in stock. This column itself is also usually updated by APIs by our clients. So if you set up an integration here at the top, feed from your backend system that you have today right into AMP to update this column multiple times a day, you can certainly set that up. Then we have our item status column. And this is a control column where you can say if a item here should be used or made visible in AMP, or if you want to exclude visibility or make it exclusive to a few of your dealers so that only dealers that have our special pricing should be able to see this item. And then I don't think I have an example on this screen, but third term used here is the word hidden. So hidden hides that SKU from all of AMP besides this screen here, besides the product table screen. That way you can kind of keep all of your data here in AMP. Maybe you're setting up new introductions that are coming out in a couple months without it displaying until it is time. Then you'll just type in the word hidden into that cell. Then we have our page order and item order, or as these tags say, page sorting key and item sorting key. This is where you can numerically order your catalog. So maybe I want this first group here to be my first page, and then second, third, fourth, and fifth. I would just write in those numbers. The lowest number goes to the front of the catalog, highest number towards the back, and blank cells. So if you don't fill out any of this, blank cells are seen as 0. So zeros are seen at the very front. So if you are using this column, highly recommend that you stay up to date as far as filling out the page numbers, just like a book. Then when you open up that page, what are the order of the SKUs? So if you have multiple items on one page, again, you can list them top to bottom by going lowest number to highest number. So when I open page 1, I want maybe this second SKU to actually be the first one I see, so I'd put a number 1 here and then a 2 here. Then we have our cubes or volume here. UPC, this is designed for our print collateral or AMP press. So if you want to print out UPC tags, with barcodes and UPC numbers, that's where this column and tag are stored and used. Style, warranty, material, item color, finishes, fabrics. That is all other front and additional product information. Again, just what we've learned over time that makes our universal template useful for all of our clients. And then we have a chunk of item features here. Item features works exactly like other front, except one scenario, which is the kiosk program, AMP Avenue. If you have the kiosk program, then we turn item features into bullet points that are displayed to the right of each product. And if you have a dealer that is using the kiosk program to display in their locations, then you'll want to fill out those item features just to really make your catalog look really good on their kiosk. Then we have our photo set column. Now you'll notice the header here isn't photo set, it's image URLs. And that's because we also support online links for photos. So if you have your photos stored in some cloud service, you can list links here instead, and we'll go fetch them for you. Alternatively, you can list the names of your photo files here, or use our photo matching tool, which we'll cover in another video. But essentially, it would be photo name, comma, photo name, comma, photo name, comma, and so on. And that's how we pair SKUs to photos. And then we have our documents column, which works pretty similar to the photos column, except you'll upload your documents here on this right below the products tab. And you can write out the name of the file that you've uploaded. So maybe credit card authorization.pdf or whatever example may be for your business, so that when somebody views this particular item in AMP, there's a little document icon there that they can tap on and download the document. And then we have our two price list columns. I'm going to tag one of these as exclusive and one as general. Exclusive means nobody in AMP can see this price unless I specifically say they can in my customer table. Whereas general price means anybody can see this price, especially a brand new dealer that is not on my customer table. So my reps can pull up this price and use it for what we call a temporary customer. And also, if I just haven't assigned any price to my dealers, the allowed price list column in the customer table is blank, then any general price gets shown by default to those folks. Whereas exclusive does not. Exclusive demands that you write out that price list name, dealer price 1, next to their name in the customer table. So that is uploading and tagging our universal product table here. I'm going to hit accept to lock it in, but before I do, I also want to point out there's a little link up here at the top which gives you quick definitions of those column tags. So I recommend taking a look at that, or if you forget, you have this little glossary here at the top. So let's hit accept. And there we go. We've loaded our first product table into AMP. And everything's looking good. All right, let's go look at the shop side. just to see what we did. So instead of clicking manage, I'm going to click on shop. So this is the actual catalog that you're building for your sales reps and dealers. We'll go to product catalog. And we've got some of those filters already engaged, like category and collection, because we've tagged them as such. Then here's our product pages. Those page IDs have created pages out of the convention we made earlier. And if we click on a page, here's that first grouping. Remember, we had a couple of SKUs that shared the same exact page ID. Then at the bottom of this page, we have the additional product information. Here's dimensions, inventory, and that general price. In another video, we'll cover the photos. So these will be populated with photos, as well as making quick edits to the product table using the edit table tool and customizing the flow and filters of the catalog.